Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to your 7th grade pre-AP pre-algebra class. As always, is Mr. Morales. So this week, guys, we're going to go ahead and finish off where we started on Friday. So this is going to be week 6, day 1 of 7.12a. Essentially, this take encompasses data. So breaking down data, understanding data, and more specifically, data given in a dot plot and a box plot, and being able to matriculate and understand between the two. So the number one thing I would recommend you do is pull up your vocabulary list, learn the vocabulary such as your 5-number summary, know what range is, know your minimum, maximum, quartile, 1, 3, median. Know these terms, because as I go through the lesson, you have to know what I'm talking about in order to understand. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start off with our quote for the day. So our quote today is going to be, hard work is the key to success. So essentially this just means that the more work you put into this class, guys, the more you're going to be able to reap the benefits. In essence, those who dedicate the time and the effort are going to have the most success. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. But other than that, let's go ahead and move on to it. So we'll start off with question number 1. So for us, I've decided this week I'm going to be solving the last 2 questions, and you're going to be in charge of the first 3. Let's go ahead and mix it up for this week and see what we can get out of this. So question number 4 states that the dot plots represent the number of hours each student spent on his or her science fair project. Which of the following statements is not true? Okay, so when you're given a dot plot, there are essentially a few steps that you need to follow. I would recommend them only so you can get the practice, because in the long run, such as in 8th grade, you're going to have to do every single step. So even though the question may finish after we do, for example, step number 4, finish off the steps so you can get the practice. So we'll start off with the first step. So our first step is always to put our numbers in ascending order, meaning I'm going to start off with the smallest number and I'm going to go all the way to the largest number. So I've done so for class A and for class B separately. Okay, so you take each value, so each dot represents one person, one answer. So notice we have, for class A, we have 1, 2, 1, 3, 2 4s, so on and so forth. And I did the same thing for class B. Okay, once you've put them in order, right off the bat, the first thing you should do is you should know your minimum, which is your smallest number. That's the easy one. You should know your maximum, which is the biggest number in your data set. Okay, so data set is all the values within that group. So all the data for A, the data set, is all those numbers for class A. Class B, same thing. So you want to know your minimum, maximum. The next step is going to be to find your median. Your median is going to be the middle value between all your data set. So the easiest way is just cross off 1 from the left, 1 from the right, 1 from the left, 1 from the right. Okay, as you do so, you'll notice that for class A, you essentially end up with 2 numbers in the middle, with a 6 and a 7. So because you end up with 2 numbers in the middle, you're going to have to find the average, or the mean. So know that average and mean mean the same thing. So you're going to have to find the average. So in this case, what you're going to do is you're going to add your 6, add your 7 together, and then divide by 2. That's what an average is. An average is you add the numbers together, divide by 2. In this case, it's 6 and 7. And when you do so, you will get 6.5. Okay? Class B, you're going to do the same thing. Notice that when you do it, you're going to get 2 6s in the middle. Well, 6 plus 6 divided by 2 is still 6. So there's nothing really much to do about that. So essentially, that's all you had to do. So that's your first step. Your first step is know your minimum, your maximum, and your median. Okay? So know how to find an average, know how to find a median. Okay? You notice I have my values here. So my minimum 2 for data set A, my maximum is 9, my median 6.5. For class B, we have a minimum of 2, a maximum of 10, and a median of 6. Okay? We'll continue on. So my step 4 is going to be now to place parentheses around the numbers above and below the median. Okay? So for example, in class A, I had to use 6 and 7 to find the median. So the value I find at 6.5 is not in my data set. That number is not in there. So instead of putting parentheses, I ended up changing the colors. Okay, so I changed the colors. The data set on the left hand side will be in one color. The data set on the right hand side will be another color. Okay, you'll notice I did that here. So 2 through the third 6 are going to be blue. Then from the 7 to the end of my data set for A are going to be in red. Same thing for class B. So for class B, I colored them yellow and green. And that's what you have to do. Okay, so first thing we did, find our minimum, maximum, found our median. Now we can put parentheses, or what I did was I color coded them. So I could differentiate between the left half of my data and the right half of my data. Okay. Now, your next step is gonna be to find the median of those data sets, or of that data. The reason being, because when you find the left-hand middle, that's your quartile 1. When you find the right-hand middle, that's your quartile 3. So they're the middles of each one, right? So in order to do this, once again, you're going to cross out left and right. So you'll notice I have one on the left, one on the right, one on the left, one on the right. And you're going to follow this process until you get to a middle number. Boom. I ended up with 5. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the right hand side. So go one on the right, one on the left, right, left, right, left, right, left, and I have that number in the middle, right there. Okay, so you're gonna put those numbers to the side. Here we go. Then I have one on the left, one on the right, same thing. So you have to follow this process over and over again. That's gonna be my quartile 1 of the second data set. Then I go one on the right, one on the left. Follow this process. And that is going to be my quartile 3 for the second data set. Now that I've done this, now I have to write down my so-called 5-number summary. So this 5-number summary is going to be the minimum, the maximum, quartile 1, 3, and my median. So I've essentially solved everything that I needed from this information. That's my step 6. Okay, so notice how my quartile 1 from data set A was 5. My quartile 3 for data set A was 8. My data set for class B came out to 5, and my quartile 3 came out to 8. So you need to have this information down. Now that you're done with this, now we can go through the answer choices. So what the first one says, the interquartile range for both classes equals 3 hours. Okay, so in order to understand A, you have to understand what interquartile range is. So IQR is the same thing as quartile 3 minus quartile 1. This is going to signify 50% of your data. So I take Q3 minus Q1 for each one, for A and for B. And you'll notice that both of them are 3. So they have to be the same. So A says the range for both is equal. Yes, it is. It is equal. But I want the answer that's not true. So I have to go to the next one. B says that the range for class B is 1 hour shorter than the range for class A. Well, range is going to be my maximum minus my minimum. Okay, so I have my maximum minus my minimum. And I'll notice that A is less than B. Okay, now I go to C. The median of class A is 30 minutes longer than the median for class B. Well, my median is 6.5 for A, and it's 6 for B, so that's true. Then we go off to D, which says that the mean amount of time spent on the project is equivalent for both classes. So mean is an average. The way you find a mean is you have to add them all together, all your values, and then divide by the number of values. So when you do all the numbers in A, you're going to get 111, and there's 18 values. There's 18 different numbers. So when you divide that, you get 6.17. For B, there's 110 when you add all the numbers together. Once again, there's 18 numbers, so you're going to get a 6.11. D says that the mean amount for both are the same. Well, we can see that that's incorrect. One's 6.17, one's 6.11. So obviously, D is going to be our answer because it's the answer that's wrong. Okay, so that's our answer. There we go. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. All right, so that's question 4. Let's go on to question 5. So question 5, once again, we're going to do the exact same steps. So first, we're going to put them in order from left to right. We have decimals, so be very careful with your decimals. So we're going to cross out both sides to get our medians. Notice that in both values, the two numbers we're using are the same. So your median number are just going to be 2.5 for bank A and 2 for bank B. We move on. Now that we found our medians, now we have to write down our values. So our minimums for both, our medians for both, and our maximums for both. If you have any questions, let me know. Moving on, we're going on to step number 4, which is we're now going to have to put our parentheses. I use different colors, don't forget. There are my different colors. So I separated my data now. And now I got to cross them out so I can get my median. Okay? Have my median there, median there. Okay. Notice that for both of them, for my medians, I have 2 values. So once again, I'm going to have to get the average of both. So for class A or bank A, I have a median between 1.5 and 2, so I will add them together, divide by 2. For the quartile 3, I have both of them being 3, so my quartile 3 is going to be 3 for bank A. For bank B, both of them are 1.5, for quartile 1 is 1.5. And for the other one, I have a IQR between, or I have a median between 2.5 and 3. So when I add this together, I get my average. Okay, now I'm going to follow off into step 6. So for step 6, it says to write down all my numbers. So there you'll see my values. If you have any questions, let me know. As we move on, now we have to understand each statement. So the first one says that the median loan rate for A is less than the median for B. So A is less than B. That's not true. But for this question, we want the truth, so that one's wrong. Next one says the IQR for A is more than B. So is A more than B? Nope, that's incorrect as well because they're the same. Go on to H. It says the range. So that's minimum taken away from the maximum. So it says that they have to have A is less than B. So A has to be less than B. So A is less than B, so that one's true. So we can look and now see that H is true. Go off into the last one, and it says that the smallest rate offered by bank A is more than bank B. So we're talking about minimums. They're the exact same, so that's incorrect. Okay, so in doing so, we see that H is our answer, G cannot be it, so our answer is H. So guys, that is how you break down data using the 5-number summary. Your exit ticket for today, complete questions 1, 2, and 3. Send me proof of your completion. Send it to me any way you can. If you need help, let me know. If I ask you to do corrections, please do them. Other than that, have a wonderful, wonderful day. I miss each and every one of you. All right, guys. Have a great day. Bye bye.